Why the change? Well, breaking free coming back to me was on the back of me writing my manuscript and aligned with the book. And I felt like in season one, I very much covered what I wanted to. This whole concept of how do we break free? How do we become aware? To cover the tools of awareness and intention and breath and pause. And what I am really being drawn to these days is sharing your soul's unique energetic blueprint. Now, in season one, I covered that a lot, but I know that there were still many listeners who are wondering, what is that all about? So I really want to share because this has been so instrumental in my life. And I know it can be in yours too. So, your soul's unique energetic blueprint is my synthesis of three individual frameworks: your astrological natal chart, your human design's body graph, and your gene keys hologenetic profile. Now, all three of these frameworks have some similarities in that they are all based off of astrology as a starting point. With human design, they throw in the Kabbalah and the chakra system and the I Ching. And then with gene keys, he brings in frequency and DNA elements. And so the three stand alone, but they also pair so well together. And what I've learned for myself is that the more I unpack it, gosh, the more nuance and knowledge is there. So a year ago, I was so fascinated with it all that I went to the effort of creating the ability to create reports on the website. So that is now on the website. It has been for the past year. I've gifted it to all of my podcast guests in season one. But here's the thing: not enough of you have gotten your blueprint to understand it. And I've heard people say, oh, that they listened to the podcast, but they didn't know what all the numbers meant. And I want to make sure all of you have this. So what I've done is two things. I have created a new free overview that gives all three elements in the one chart. If you are a chat GPTer or you're a person who likes to dive deep on your own, you can enter your birth date, time, and location of birth and get all of the details and go for your life. You can go as deep as you want. Look, alternatively, you could go to three different websites: an astrology website, another human design website, the Gene Keys website, and pull all the information, but it won't be succinct and coherent. And I give a little bit of breakdown of each of the elements. So I would encourage you to get this one because it gives you a full picture overview of everything in the one report. If you want to go deeper, there are a number of ways that you can do that. I had originally created about a 50-page report. And over the past year, as I've gone deeper and deeper into the gates, which are our gifts, into the channels, which are our strongest energetic influences in our life. Everyone has, a couple, maybe one, maybe five. I don't know if I've seen more than five in the reports I've printed out, but I'm sure there are some unique individuals out there with more. But these are the really specific energetic influences that are the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The most uh, influential in your life. So, for instance, one of mine is the channel of logic, right, which is my ability to take really complex information and distill it down into more easily digestible bits of information. And probably one of the reasons I so love what I'm doing here. One of my other ones is the channel of transitoriness. That is the channel that makes me love adventure, makes me want to experience new things, makes me not a great candidate for an average. I don't want to use that word in a bad way, but like a 9 to 5 job in one location where I'm doing the same thing day in and day out. My very first job, that's what I did. And it was like, I couldn't wait for that job to end. One of my other channels is a channel of needing repetition and routine in my life, right? So as you know, your strongest energetic influences, you can create more alignment with them. Okay. And then we also delve into the gene keys, which shows you your energetic influences in a hologenetic way so that when you are in stress, you have a certain influence. When you are in alignment, you have a certain influence. And when you are really in a transcendent state, that you hit what they call the city, which is just a state of mastery. We all ebb and flow between them. Life is always going to throw us curveballs. Life is always going to throw hardships. We are sometimes going to become overwhelmed. And as we do, if we know what our challenges are up front, it just helps us a little bit more, just in the same way that knowing your gifts helps you. I go into the definition of our centers, also known as chakras. And I am super excited to unpack all of this in a deeper way. Now, in season 2, I'm going to be doing just that. And I'm going to be kicking us off with an upcoming workshop that I'm offering live and for free. It is called The 3 Steps to Manifesting a Wildly Beautiful Life. Because here's the thing, I actually genuinely believe that every single one of us deserves a wildly beautiful life. Now, many of you know my story. Many of you know that I left my heart in my art behind when I graduated from university. When I was 21 years old, I looked at, stepping out of the doors of my college and thought, okay, well, that was super fun. I loved that. And now it's time to be serious. I had this story that was driving my life that said, um, life is serious. I need to do something important. Something important will be something in the business world. I will likely work a 9 to 5 job. I had all of these rules that I was ticking, not rules that were concrete by any stretch, but rules that I had inherited unconsciously from my upbringing, from my surroundings, right? And this is called conditioning. And this journey that we're going to be going on in season 2 is a journey of deconditioning, a journey of understanding yourself in another way so that you can make different decisions for yourself. I'm just coming off a sabbatical. I've got a few more weeks of it still to the end of this year, but I am going to jump in and do this workshop and begin to share some podcasts again, mainly because it really lights me up sharing this information. And that's what life's all about. When I was away in Vietnam, as part of my travels during the sabbatical, someone saw me reading a book about the Codex of the Soul, it was called, and it's about the astrological archetypes and the influence they have on us. And I'm sitting there and I'm highlighting and I'm underlining, and someone saw me. I kind of peeled away from the rest of the group, and they were all socializing, and I was just over by myself, studiously doing my work. And someone came over and said, "Oh, are you studying?" And I said, "No, I'm not studying." He said, "Oh, are you doing work right now?" I said, "Well, not really. I mean, I guess technically I am studying and I'm kind of doing work, but what I'm doing is I'm learning stuff that I find invigorating, that I absolutely love. And I'm really blessed that I'm able to weave my loves into my work and my purpose and to share that. And I genuinely believe that every single one of us deserves that. Every single one of us has something unique that sparks us to life. And so many of us have been taught that it's not important enough, or you can't make a living out of that, or you can do that on the side, or you need to shut that down entirely. Whatever it is, all of us have learned things and we have kept ourselves smaller and smaller so that we can fit in. And it's not our fault. It's what we were taught. It's what our young brains understood to be the truth, to understand how we're loved and belong and worthy in the world. And I'm here to tell you, our interpretation as a young little one is not accurate. It's not real. And there actually are no rules in life. Now, my dogs are going to bark. I be no. They're sitting here and enjoying the podcast with me, but I know that my boys are home soon from school and that I probably should tie this off. So I look forward to seeing you. If you can join me on December 3rd live, I would love to see you there. See you soon.